All right, so we're looking at writing equations given the slope and the y-intercept. Remember that slope is rise, which is the change in y, or run, change in x. Okay, so rise, up and down, run, left and right. Well, sometimes we're going to have to find the slope from our graph. The y is always on top because y is up and down, and run is left and right. So our slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. The slope, m, is always the number in front of the x, and the by-intercept is being added or subtracted depending on whether it's positive or negative. The y-intercept is also a point on the graph. It's where it crosses the y-axis, and it's b, comma, 0. This is like the worst stylus. So a little note about slopes and what they look like. Remember that a positive slope from left to right goes up. A negative slope goes down. We haven't really looked at no slope or zero slope yet, so let's look at that. A no slope is vertical because it has a rise, but it has 0 run. So we can't have 0 in the denominator, so it's no slope, or undefined is another word for that. Undefined. And then a zero slope is your horizontal line. So a zero slope is a horizontal line. Zero slope equations will always be y equals some number. And your no slope will be x equals some number. Okay. It's just a blank slide. Given, if we are given m and b, can we write the equation? So remember, it's y equals mx plus b. So if m is 3, it's y equals 3x. The 3 goes in front with m, and then plus or minus, if it's negative, our y-intercept is b, -1. So instead of writing plus -1, we're just going to write -1. That's our final answer. And then number 2, m is 1/2, and the y-intercept is 0. So that's my b. So y equals 1/2 x plus 0. And we normally don't write the plus 0. Y equals 1/2 x. We're going to plug in 0, number 3. The slope is 0, and the y-intercept is -7. So y equals 0. That's your m times your x plus your b, which is -7. And 0x is just 0. So y equals -7. Now, no slope's a little bit harder because we have to remember that no slope doesn't cross the y-axis. So it's an x-equal equation, and x equals 5 in this point, so x equals 5 is going to be the equation that crosses there. And that's because we have the point 50 over here. Okay, and the vertical line that passes through that has no slope has the equation x equals 5. Okay, now we're given a graph. We have the y-axis here, and the y-intercept is where it crosses. So this point 0, -2 is the y-intercept. And any point with an x value of 0 is going to be the y-intercept. And my slope, we're going to see how much it takes to get from this bottom point on the left to the next point. So I'm going to use green here. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, and right 1, 2, 3, 4. So up 4, that's +4, and right 4, that's +4. So my slope is 4 over 4, and that reduces to 1. So here m equals 1, and my b equals -2. So my equation, y equals 1x minus 2. And then if you want, you could just write y equals x minus 2, because not very often do we write a 1 in front of the x. But you wouldn't get marked off if you put the 1 in front. Okay, so let's look at B here. What's my y-intercept? The point here where it crosses the y-axis. So my B is -1. And then we need to find our slope. From the left point, I'm going to go down 1. So that's -1. And write 1, 2, 3. So rise was -1. And the run was +3. So my slope is -1/3. I don't need to make that a decimal. I just want to keep it as a fraction. So m is -1/3. If it's a reducible fraction, I need to reduce it. So y equals -1/3 x minus 1. Now what if we're just given 2 points? 0, -6, and 3, 9. Well, 0, -6 is our y-intercept because the x value is 0. And if we were to graph that, it'd be down here at -6 on the y-axis. And I need to find my slope, and my slope formula is m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So I need to label these points. This is x2 and y2. This is x1 and y1. We're always going to subtract the y's on top, and it doesn't really matter whether you start with 1 or 2. It just needs to be consistent for the numerator and the denominator. So here I'm going to do m equals 9 minus -6. It's always subtracting, so when I subtract a negative, and then 3 minus 0. Remember, subtracting a negative becomes plus a positive. So we get 9 plus 6 is 15 over 3. So m equals 5. And we saw that b was -6. So that's not my final answer. I wasn't asked for just the slope. I was asked for the equation. So y equals mx, 5x, plus b plus negative is -6. And this is my final equation. Okay, so of these 2 points, the one that has the 0 for the x is my y-intercept. So my y-intercept, b, is 2. And then I have to use my slope formula to find the slope. M equals y1, 2 minus y2 minus y1. So make sure you're subtracting the y's from the y's. So 2 minus -1 over, I have to start with this point. It's really important. If I started with this point for the top, I have to start with this point for the bottom. Otherwise, the sign of my line is wrong. And then 0 minus 4. We get, this becomes plus minus a negative. So we get 3 over -4. And we just don't like the way it looks with a negative in the denominator. So we either write it in the numerator or we put it in front, -3/4. And then we said b is 2. So y equals mx, -3/4 x plus 2. That's my final answer. Okay, what if it's in function notation? Function notation is really no different than writing it as an ordered pair. This f of 4, f of 0 equals -4 means that when x is 0, y is -4. That makes my b equal to -4, because again, my x value is 0. That means it's on the y-axis. Therefore, it's my y-intercept. And this point is 3, 8. And then just to show you that I can subtract either way, we will do m equals -4 minus 8 over 0 minus 3. -4 minus 8 is -12 divided by a -3 gives me a +4. If I did it the other way around, I'd end up with +4 as well. It doesn't matter which way as long as we're consistent, meaning we start with the first point in on the numerator and we start with the first point in the denominator. So then I know my b is -4, so y equals +4x. This is my m, right? positive 4x, and my b is negative 4 minus 4. And lastly, 0, 9 is the point 0. F of 0 equals 9 means that we have 0, 9, and f of 8 equals 7 means when I plug in 8 for x, I get 7 for y. So my slope is 7 minus 9 divided by 8 minus 0, which is negative over 8. And let's see, let's make sure we reduce this properly. When the smaller number is on top, the answer is a fraction. Negative 2 over 8, I can divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2, and I get negative 1/4. Okay, this does not equal 4. Smaller number on top needs to be a fraction. So my slope is negative 1/4. Y equals m, that's my slope, negative 1/4 times x plus b. In this case, b is my 9 because 0, 9 is the y-intercept. So negative 1/4 x plus 9. And if you forgot, your homework tonight was to do page 179, 3 to 31 odd, 36, and 38 through 41. I hope